Well, Kristen, thanks so much for taking some time to hang with me today. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
So, we are in the middle of this coronavirus chaos, coronacation, whatever you want to call it. How do I know if now is the right time to pivot and start a business, perhaps a business that's online, rather than sticking it out with my job or going back after furlough or whatever my situation might be? How do I know that now is the right time for me to start something on my own?
I think a really good question you have to ask yourself is whose need you're seeking to meet. Are you seeking to meet your own needs because this is a desire you have for yourself, or because you're seeking to meet a need that you see in the marketplace that others would gladly pay for? There is a difference with I'm going to go out for myself because I'm bored and frustrated to I see a way I can serve and grow and provide a solution to meet this need. So really evaluating your why, your purpose, and then just evaluating yeah, motive. Motive is a really big one, and just are you in a position to embrace a learning curve?
Am I in the position to embrace a learning curve? Meaning, this is not going to be a walk in the park.
No, you don't get to just say, "I think I'm just gonna start a business." It might be if you understand, if you have the awareness of your own strengths and how you can leverage them, and if you see an immediate need that needs to be met in the marketplace, you could see explosive growth. But there also is, are you new? Is there a brand? You have to be willing to, are you in this for the long term? Are you in it
Mhm,
for the long game? That's
mhm.
key.
And so part of that probably means that either you have a savings that you can draw upon, or somebody else is supporting you, or right, there's a way that you're going to make it financially during the time in which you're building your brand and establishing your niche and so forth.
Yeah, I would say if you don't have a brand, you don't have a sense of a need that you want to meet yet in the marketplace. If you are in a job, I say to use your job as like your investor as your dream, and it helps you show up with less bitterness of, going to a job I don't love, instead of, hey, these are more investors. I'm going to show up for them. And this in turn is going to be investment in building what's meaningful to me. So yeah, leveraging your existing job, or if you have someone that is, a primary breadwinner at home that's happy to support you in your learning curve, do it. Yeah.
Mhm. That is such a great way of seeing it, is them as your investors. I have done marketing for the last 12 years. I still have marketing clients, and I look at it as they are paying me to have the opportunity to do these other things that I want to do. My first priority is to them. I've got to make sure they're happy. I got to make sure that I'm doing a great job for them. But I love that, seeing them as investors. They're helping me do this other thing that I want to do as well. That's really a cool visual. Now, how do I know? Uh, you talked about this motivation of whether it's for me or for the meeting a need of somebody else. It's probably a combination. There's probably mixed
Mhm.
up in there. How do I know if the need that I sense isn't just my neighbor who has the need, but that there are actually a large enough number of people who would buy my product? How would I determine that? I mean, my
Yeah.
my neighbor says they'd buy it from me. I should start this business right away.
Yeah, this is where you definitely want to see if there's viability and if there's a need, and do market research. So ask people, do some data gathering and say, is this of value to you? What would you pay for this? What's important to you? What solutions have you tried in prior to this? Honestly, uh, part of the reason why when I decided to pivot into my business, it exploded, was because I remember I was actually quarantined to a funky eye virus I got in August. And so I was in my house for 10 days and I decided to call people. I called 23 people to be like, is this a need? How do you feel? Is this important to you? What would you, because viability and market research was important to me.
So calling people, and some that
Mhm.
I would even suggest some that you don't know,
Oh, yeah.
because otherwise they probably are gonna not want to hurt your feelings if they're want to be nice to you or something. How would I even get people that I don't know on the phone to ask them if this is something that they would buy from me?
Yeah, so there's a couple approaches. I just did it from I did 2. I did my Facebook, my personal Facebook page, and I did kind of a blanket statement on who I thought might be the target audience I was gonna serve. So I said, if this is you, you deal with this, you struggle with this, and you want this, I have a project in the works. I'd love to have 20 minutes of your time if it's possible to ask you a few questions for market research. And I had a bunch of people reach out, and then also going into Facebook groups and of the people you're looking to serve, what kind of Facebook group they're hanging out in, and just say, hey, I'm looking to meet, to chat and connect with a few people who are experiencing this. I'd love your feedback for some market research. You have to be careful in some Facebook groups. Some are really sensitive to that, but
Right, right.
yeah, that it's a great way to go about it.
Okay. So if I feel like I have an idea that could meet a need, and I feel like I've done some market research, how do I get started? Like, what's the first thing? I feel like some
Yeah.
people go, I gotta get this logo, and I'm going to, get a logo tournament focused, and I've just got to get this thing, and it's got to look right. You know what I mean? Like some people, other people, it's like, I got to get this website, or I need business cards. I need business cards. Come
Oh
on,
goodness.
Kristen, I need business
Oh.
cards. You know what I mean? Like there's so many little things that can be rabbit trails in getting
Mhm.
started. What do you think is the first thing that, if you got an idea, you've possibly done some market research, where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's definitely not getting caught up in websites and business cards and logos and decorating your office. I ground my clients from doing that. I say those can be milestones of celebration in your business, not precursors. But a great way to start is selling is a form of serving. So serve. And if this is something that you're going to do long term, it better be something you love. And what better way to know that you love it than doing it for free? So I just served those people and offered like mini training sessions, mini sessions to learn from them and see, is this enjoyable? Am I good at this? And can I yield results? And it was a win win for everybody because the person received great training or a great expertise or skill set. And I learned and saw this is, in fact, a need. I do, in fact, love it. Now we go on.
Interesting. Okay, so you said that serving is a form of selling, or selling is a form of serving. Which way do I do it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All
Both.
right. Both,
Yes.
both, both, both.
Yes.
All right. So the idea is that I'm helping someone in some form or fashion. Now, let's just say that
Mhm.
I've got a product, not just a service, because if a service I could give away, it's my
Mhm.
time. Perhaps there's a bit of hard cost involved. Let's just say it's a product. How do I give it away as a way of serving? You know what I mean? Help me see that.
Yeah. So if it's a product, what I would do is look for a couple key people and asking, hey, if I provide you this product for free in exchange, would you provide me your honest feedback, a testimonial, a review? Payment is always an exchange of value. So if I'm not getting a monetary value from them, there might be value of the referral, testimonial, word of mouth. So just putting that into place. Mhm.
Hmm. Yeah. I'm thinking about a woman who was just in my last coaching group, and she had a vision for a interior design business, and she had done it for all of her friends. They had just asked her, you know what I mean, like because they saw that she had a knack for that, and they had just asked her over the last few years. She had done it as a gift to them or whatever. Now she was thinking, all right, I'm gonna I'm gonna pivot. I want to make this into my business, and her first step was she, focused on the blog, because the people that she admired that were on TV, they had a blog, and they got business that way, and they had fun with their blog and everything. And, I just told her, I don't think anybody cares about your blog. I mean, I hate to tell you, you can have fun with it, but nobody's going to, at this point, nobody cares about this. So she ended up uh, going on thumbtack.com. I think it's called thumbtack.com, whatever. It's a place where you can offer your services. Kristen, she offered her services on there. She had 3 calls within a couple of days for her services.
Mhm.
She had some testimonials from her friends up there. She had no website. She had no business cards. She had no logo. She
Yep.
had nothing. All she did was offer to help. Isn't that crazy?
Precisely. Just serving, just showing up and being willing to serve. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the process, what was beautiful about it is it required her to ask questions and us to process them on everything from, wow, how do I do this? Do I have a contract? How do I charge for this? How do I, and it's kind of fun is those things, oftentimes, yeah, it would be great if you figured those out ahead of time, but you can kind of figure them out as you go, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are what are some things that you find that your clients are kind of figuring it out as they go?
I think content creation and what speaks to their audience, what matters to their audience, also who they want to work with. I think you can start with an idea of who your ideal client
Right.
is, and then as you continue to work, it will shift and change. And
Right.
just I have to tell all of my clients, nothing is in cement. It's okay. We can adjust and adapt. And some of them get so terrified with making decisions because they treat it like it's in cement. They don't make decisions at all.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, it's not cement. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, even like from a vision statement or like some, content on a website, it's like, we can change this, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
always crafting my vision statement.
Yeah.
Like, today it feels more aligned here.
So it sounds like it's important to have a target audience, a niche of who you're going to go after, but knowing that the people that you serve might change over time based on that you go, oh, I really feel like I resonate with this group, or boy, that was not a good experience. I don't want to head down that road.
Yeah, I would say having fluidity in your business, that's what allows you to be adaptable and creative and take necessary pivots. So being fluid in that, I think, is really key, and it is going to change. I feel like my niche has changed. I think it started with a macro niche and started to get more and more micro.
Hmm.
And there's this saying from a quote from the Patriot that I love, and it's aim small, miss small. And I tell my clients this. I'm like, if you aim small, you're going to miss small. Your marketing and everything.
What does that mean to you? Aim small, miss small. Elaborate on that.
I believe if you are speaking to very specific audiences, very specific pain points, with the people that are responding to that become very qualified leads, and therefore your conversion rates are very high
Okay.
because your message isn't getting lost in generalization.
Okay. So let's give people an example of that. Let's just say it's interior design. Okay.
Hmm.
Just playing with that metaphor. So if I were to say, I offer interior design for, I just love helping people's homes be beautiful. Okay. That's pretty big, right?
Yep.
How
Yep.
would you help me get down small? Give me an example of aim
Yeah.
small.
Yeah,
Yeah. Aim
I
small.
love
Yeah.
that you're bringing up interior design because I actually have an interior design team I'm working with. And they learned that theirs was bringing beautiful interior design to the everyday mom in the everyday home. So
Okay.
it's about getting that high quality look without paying this name brand designer and having it accessible to anyone's home. It's very
Mhm.
affordable, it's approachable design.
The everyday mom. So now I'm assuming their language, their marketing, their testimonials. I'm looking at
Hmm.
stuff that's going to connect with an everyday mom.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
someone that wants is feeling she's just too, and they got really clear on it's they even got clear on their target demographic, what they're bringing in income wise, and they're like, well, it's someone that doesn't want to spend money on the name brand design and that wants to feel like there's approachable design and doesn't want to do it herself. So there's a
Mhm.
real sweet spot in the middle right there.
Right. That's cool. Okay. So let's get some examples here. Let's just say that I'm furloughed or I'm, tired of my job. I'm having some challenges. I'm thinking about starting something. It sounds fascinating to me, but I'm going, what, I'm not sure I know what I could bring to the table. Like maybe I don't see a need quite yet, but I'm asking the question, what is it within me that I could do? Like help me with some ideas on how I could take my existing knowledge or experience and leverage that into a way to serve people, particularly maybe not a service, but something online even.
Yeah. This is where I think self-awareness, we tend to have a lot of blind spots on our most natural talents because it's so second nature to us. We assume it comes naturally to everybody.
Hmm.
So I know for me, something that was really helpful for affirmation on what I should be doing and what I'm naturally good at was I always refer people to the Clifton Strengths Finder. Like, what are your
Hmm.
5 strengths? Do the disc test. I'm big on, there are many different, your Enneagram, there's one called the Wealth Dynamics, which is fantastic. And all of these I say is like a little picture of portions of an elephant, each assessment
Hmm.
test. And then when you get them all together, it gives you a bigger picture and that helps you understand yourself as a whole. And so for me, I ask myself and I ask my clients, what is a problem people typically go to you for? And what do
Ah.
you enjoy solving? And it's, you are a go-to person for something. It just might be so second nature to you. You don't think about it. You're like, oh, people are always surprised. Oh, I guess that is what I'm really good at. And as far as bringing something to the online space, it's just a matter of understanding what parts, how am I a go-to person, or what have I been a go-to person for, and how can I provide that in the online space for people that are looking for that particular go-to solution, whether it's
Hmm.
a product or a service.
Hmm. So if it's a, let's see, if it's a product, it could be an information product. It
Yes.
could be training.
Hmm.
It could be a book or some sort of downloadable book. It could be, let's see what else. It could be a physical product that I mail to them. That's an
Yeah.
option. Yep.
Hmm.
Now, if it's a service, how does that, let's see, how would that play out? It could be something I do for them, but I'm just selling it on the internet.
Well, for service, I would be thinking like that's where I'm thinking coaching,
Hmm.
consulting,
Hmm.
advertising. So, um, yeah, so it's just a matter of how you want to position that service to people and be like, okay, do you want to offer just a one-time consulting? Do you want to do an online course? Do you want webinars? And just kind of seeing what feels like the best fit for you. But people that are just starting out, like start small, start one-on-one,
Hmm.
figure out what you are great at and continue going there. You're going to have to embrace some failure. You're going to
Hmm.
have to embrace uh, the sucky part and be like, you're
Hmm.
going to have to embrace beginner suckiness because
Hmm.
we all start there.
Yeah, yeah. I had a client, and I usually primarily work with women, but this gentleman, I had met him, and he was just a sponge, wanting to learn and grow. And I invited him into our training program. 85 years old, Kristen, 85-year-old man, living in a home, not like a like what do you call it? It's not a nursing home. You know what I mean? It's just like a community
Yeah.
home of like people, and he needed to generate some income on a monthly basis. And so through the program and through our process, of course, I learned that he was a vice president of a company that made technology primarily for the government. And so I said, okay, let's go on upwork.com and I'm going to help you develop a profile. So I literally, this was during the quarantine. All right. I couldn't go to him. He couldn't come to me. I shared my screen and I helped him develop an upwork.com profile for him to offer his services to people who are developing government contracts. There were already jobs on Upwork for people looking for, like, hey, we're trying to get government contracts in XYZ. I need a consultant to help me walk through it. There were already jobs on there for that. Can you believe
Mhm.
that? And so, as people that are listening, it's like you'd be surprised what websites like upwork.com, if you've never heard of that, it's not just for people who do graphic design or websites or whatever. There are all sorts of things that you can offer to serve people on there.
Mhm.
So there's lots of opportunity. Um, and I would say, like you said, if it's something that's second nature, maybe they should ask a friend, you
Yes.
know, like what would they
Yes.
ask a friend? If you called up a friend, what would you have them say?
I would say if I was to give, this is actually a great Facebook post I've seen get a lot of engagement. Say, if I were to give a TED talk on anything, what would you think it would be on?
Yeah.
It might shock you what they
Yeah.
say,
Yeah. Yeah.
but also ask them to be serious.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
not just like, I mean, I guess if you want to be known for your Instapot recipes, great.
Yeah. But you could turn that into a business. You
You
could.
certainly can.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So um, let's talk about honing into a niche. right? I know you
Yeah.
said about the you need to see who you're going to serve, like the issue or the challenge, whatever need you're going to meet. How does a
Mhm.
person choose a niche? How do they go about that?
I think it points back to your natural strengths and talents, because a niche is really an audience who is best positioned for you to serve from your natural strengths, your talents, and your unique life experiences. So when you evaluate those things about yourself, then you ask, okay, well, who is best positioned to receive all my experience that I have to offer? Is it
Hmm.
someone 10 years younger than me, 10 years older than me? How are they consuming content? What's important to them? But typically, this is the audience that we actually build the most relational equity with the fastest. And it's
Hmm.
likely people that you have things in common with. Jim Edwards says in his book, Copywriting Secrets, he says 999 times out of 1,000, we are or used to be targets of our own market.
Hmm.
So it might be someone who is either just like you, a few steps behind you, or was like you.
Yeah, that's good. Now, because of your own unique experiences, you have moved into this world of coaching women, entrepreneurs.
Mhm.
Tell me about your background and how that helped you choose your own. I'm going to say it the way you say it, niche. I don't want to say it wrong. You know, it sounds so much more fancy when you say it that way too. Your niche. Uh, how did you? How did your experience set you up to choose your niche?
Yeah, so being a professional hairstylist for 15 years, I was always the person hearing women come to me for advice. I mean, they're getting their hair done, but they're also asking for major life advice and life decisions and input. And I remember it being a joke with my stylist for years, or with my clients for years, saying, "Will you just be my life coach? Will you be my life coach?" And I thought it was a joke, and I learned, oh, that's actually a real thing. And then I think I've always been very creative. So it was never just hair. I found business very fascinating. So I had started a mobile wedding business. I started an online boutique business. I was in network marketing. And what I learned is that strategy or marketing is where creativity and psychology meet. And that is a form of hairstyling. Like that is also where creativity and psychology meet. So that's where I learned, okay, I'm great at conversation, great at giving guidance, great at asking good questions, people feeling seen, heard, and understood.
Hmm.
And I was already coaching people for free for a very long time. And that's when I realized, oh, this is a thing. And that's when I again started doing interviews, and I looked at, okay, I have all this experience with both product based and service based industries. I built very successful businesses there. So, and it's fun for me. So why don't I just start serving people? And I did. And then finally I went all in and got in a mastermind and hired coaches. And I took my vision very, very seriously about where I wanted to go. And then it just blew up. It was fantastic.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So, let's just say if somebody's listening and they're going, I don't know, maybe Kristen could help me. Who is your niche where you go, this is the type of person that I work best with, and here's how I
Yeah.
help them.
Yeah, the people I work best with are people who have seen a measure of success. They're likely already in a successful career, but they are not feeling fulfilled. They're not feeling like they are living their purpose. I think they're struggling to find their purpose. I think they're saying there's got to be more out there for me. And they're very interested in diversifying their income or pivoting to an online platform of meaning, significance, and honestly, a lot of people I do coach are network marketers that are in that place.
Ah, okay. And
Mhm.
so, people, I know you've got a course that's just come out. It's called the Purposeful Platform. Tell me about this and how it would benefit somebody who's listening.
Yes, this is when I started working with a lot of clients, I realized that when I was interviewing someone that was making 20,000 a year, 50,000 a year to multiple six figures, half a million a year, they all were expressing the same frustrations and feelings like I'm not motivated, I'm burnt out, the hustle, I'm exhausted. This just isn't fun to me anymore. Work feels like a chore. And I realized When we position ourselves to pursue a paycheck, that will get us only so far, and then
Mm,
burnout inevitably follows. And I believe part of the human experience is we want to operate from purpose. And I believe when we know what our big capital P purpose is and the work we're meant to do in the world and who we're meant to serve and how we serve them, that's where joy, abundance, and prosperity meet.
mm,
So this is about building a platform not geared to a paycheck, but how to build a platform around your purpose so that you
mhm,
can serve people from that. Because that, I found, when people operated from a purpose, they had joy in their business. There wasn't so much of the hustle anymore,
mhm,
and they were able to withstand the frustrations and the up and downs in their business. Because if you would do it for free anyways, when there's a season where it's hard, you're going to stay in the game because it's your
mm.
purpose. So that's
Yeah.
what this is all about, teaching them the 5 essentials that must be in your platform in order for it to be purposeful and profitable.
Hmm. Awesome. So they can go to kristenboss.com in order
Mhm.
to learn more about the course. And of course, you've got a Facebook group. It's
Yep.
called Becoming Boss. Who is that for? What will they experience there?
Yeah, so it's a growing community of over 700 entrepreneurs, and it's a free community, and my mantra is I want to deliver as much value as possible. So I do mini trainings in there, live coachings, hot seat sessions. I'm always throwing in tons of value there because I believe in giving a lot to my audience. So it's like a paid community but free.
Nice. All right. kristenboss.com. Kristen,
Yes.
thank you. I really
Thanks
appreciate
for
you
having
taking the
me.
time today. Yeah.